and direct on YouTube, and I've got an exciting stream for today. I've got a very exciting stream. I'm super happy to come live and announce this. And I'm just gonna get straight into it. And you've read by the title that I am happy to announce that I have been signed to Excite Digital. So I'm absolutely stoked at the moment. It's like proper. I've had like a I've had like a really I haven't had the best day, to be honest. It's been very stressful, and a big chunk of my day was caused by a lot of stress because for some reason, from me leaving work to arriving home, I have somehow managed to misplace my wallet with two bank cards in it. One bank card was actually no longer in use. It was an old one, but it was still in the wallet. There was a £10 note. There was a pound coin. Or I think there might have been maybe about like £1.20 or something like that. And there was a £10. If I didn't say it, there was a £10 note. There was some ID, and there was also a receipt from a taxi that was I was supposed to get reimbursed on some travel, and yeah, it was a little bit of a stress, and the outcome is I've been non-successful to find a wallet, so the card's been cancelled, and as for the ID, I've got really no clue what to really say or do about that because the ID was actually from when I had my moped license. I got my moped license, and I used that little license card sort of as ID, and it's always been ID. And I'm guessing I can send off there for another one, but I don't ride bikes no more. I haven't rode a bike in a lot of years, so I'm just sort of curious as to how I'd go about it. And yes, I am still the person to unfortunately get ID'd at venues, and even venues where I've been booked for a gig, the security guards have actually said like, "Can I see your ID?" So it wasn't the best time. It's still sort of I'm still trying to wrap my brain like over how I could have like misplaced it from simply just walking from work to home. But I suppose anything can happen. But it was just like I remember the last time like having it, like seeing it, and it was in the office at work, and I booked a train ticket and a hotel for my gig in Leicester next week, and I literally had the wallet like on the desk. It was like on the desk next to my computer mouse, and like I do very I'm about 95% sure that when I like switched off the computer and stood up, to go home, that I put the wallet in my pocket, and I know that if I'd have left it in the office, like the office doors on like a coded lock, so no one would have gone into the office until a cleaner would go in. And while I was in the office, a cleaner came in and emptied the bin. So I don't think a cleaner would have gone back in there today. And I went back to the office obviously to check, and sadly there was just no joy, and the wallet had obviously gone. So that was the stressful part, and then there was a little issue in the music studio at work which we resolved. So to get that sort of inbox, and to receive that artwork, and to say, look, your track's been signed and it's going to be out. It was a real buzz. It kind of really turned the frown upside down, because it just been like one of them stressful times, and then it was almost like a little bit of a sort of like pick me up, because I thought, oh, I'm gunning in for a little bit of bad luck now, aren't I? Like with the wallet, and then the studio, and then I just thought, oh, what's gonna go wrong next? And then it was kind of nice that little surprise. Well, it wasn't a surprise. I had an idea that there was that the guy who runs the label like told me to send him some stuff, but the label's on a little bit more of a bigger scale. So I was kind of, do you know what I mean? I was kind of like still sort of unsure like whether like the track had actually get signed or anything, or because it's a bit of a bigger label. They're a bit more like, if they don't think something sounds right, they're all inclined to tell you, and they put events on as well. They do quite big events. They've got a, well, I'd say they've got a really good brand that's growing. It's a brand that's evolving, and sometimes for me, getting involved in brands like that is kind of like what I really enjoy, because a lot of my work like with the Goodwin, that is like shaped around like growing and seeing people grow and helping people grow. And and I think sometimes, as good as it is to be on them sort of like big legendary labels that have been around for years, it is also good to jump on board the ones that are growing and that are making a name for themselves, because at the end of the day, like, these record labels don't last forever. There's ones from back in the day that don't release anymore. Like All Around the World Records is a good example. They're discontinued. It was bought by somebody else, and there's no longer any releases on it. Essential Platinum, you don't see anything from there. Raver Baby, that them labels are no longer a thing anymore. So it will happen to other labels eventually, like Positiva. Eventually, that'll probably just no longer get releases on it, or they'll discontinue it after so many, however many releases. So sometimes, it's good to jump on the up and coming labels and sort of shape the future of music, in that sense. And I've been following Excite Digital for quite a while. They've been releasing some absolute corkers. So I was, definitely. I mean, I actually sent them a track like ages ago. I can't remember what track it was that I sent, but I sent them a track. I got an email and sent a track to it, and I just never heard anything back. And I was a little bit gutted at the time that I hadn't heard anything back. So, so a good friend of mine, Mr. Rick Shaw, he has taken the label over, and he said, he's pleased to have me on board, and he's signed up my latest track. So I sent to him the my remix of Played Alive, which I live streamed. I think, was it yesterday? No, it was either, I think it was on Tuesday. I live streamed, and I was showing the track, and I was showing all the components, and what I'd done in the track. And it's that track that's been signed up. So I know you're probably thinking, like, hang on a minute, Noble, you've got like loads of tracks that you wrote like months ago. Like, how come you didn't submit any of them? And the thing about it is I do like them tracks, but I think like there's always like, I thought this label's a little bit of a step up for me. It's a step, and I just thought that, if I'm going to come on to the label, like, I want to come on to the label with a bang, and I want to come on like with something that's quite going to be quite like sort of banging and exciting. Whereas, not that them other tracks aren't exciting, but you can just even tell like within this Played Alive, like how much the production quality has improved, and I've like learnt new things and stuff like that. So I will probably still send some of them other tracks. It's just I got like real excited for the Played Alive, and then I just kind of wanted to I just wanted to, I guess in sense, just um I just wanted to like get that one out there and really like push myself like with the production side of things, because a lot of people still don't actually realize that I do produce, and I've had like a real struggle getting people like to sort of like listen to what I've made. So like you've got like other producers that they'll release on Bound 7 quite often, and they'll put a clip up of like a new sample of a track that they've been working on, and they'll get a lot of like likes and views from people who comment on it, and then I'll put like a clip of a track up, and sometimes I'll maybe get like 3 or 4 people that like love heart it, and they'll say it's good, but I just feel like in general I'm not getting that feedback that I want. Like I'd much rather have like 10 views of people saying like there's something wrong with the track or something needs changing, rather than like 3 people just love art in it, who just don't even really care, to say whether it's good or bad. They just love art in it. They've just seen a post, probably not even properly listened to it, just love at it and scrolled on. So I've wanted to sort of go, well, hey, look, I'm here, I'm making tunes as well. And I just thought a good way to do that is to have an absolute banger, and then to be involved in a label that a lot of people are sharing and talking about is another way, just to help sort of get your name around there, and like, oh wow, oh wow, is that the same Noble? That Noble's got a tune on here. So I was quite buzzed about that. And so I put I nearly made a little bit of an error actually, and it nearly cost. I think it could have cost me the release of the track actually, but luckily it was all saved in the nick of time. So I've had like a really hectic, like a really busy week at work. And I know I only work Wednesdays and Thursdays and Monday nights at Music Lab. But no, yesterday we had a work event, and I was like flat out all day, just on my feet. And sort of like the day before, I had a meeting with ArtLink, and I just had a lot of stuff, like with work going on, and just I didn't get chance, and I didn't get round to like sending a track to him. And I thought, I want to get on this because I want to get on this label. It's a good thing, it's a good opportunity. He even said there's like possible gigs to come out of it. And me, one of the biggest things that I'm passionate about in my life is pushing my music, and where I can take it to the next boundary. And if I can get another gig out of it, and go to a new town and meet new people and have an enjoyable night, and do the main thing I love, which is my passion of being behind the decks, then obviously it's a bonus for me being able to do that. And if I can give myself them opportunities and them chances to make them chances more, getting them extra bookings, to make them more possible, then I'm all down for it. So I jumped onto FL sort of late last night, and I rendered the track, sent it and put it through mastering, gave it a master, and I literally submitted the track to Rick himself, and here's the track, blah blah blah. And then went to bed because I had to be up for work. And then the next day, I thought, when I get to the work office, when I've got just a little bit of time, I'm just going to throw a little video together and promote, I've just made this track, info coming about it soon. So I did. And 2 fellow producer friends kindly commented on it, and kindly opened my eyes and my ears to realise that the bass was actually out of key. And I was a little bit kind of like, just at first, that, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a teeny bit gutted, because I thought, do you know what, like, I really thought I'd proper nailed this track, and I thought, do you know what, I've really thought I'd done like really well with this track, and I had. Don't get me wrong, I'm really impressed with the track, but it was just that little bit, like, I thought I had everything right, and then like just something so simple. But because I'd been so buzzed about the track, and I'd been so excited, and I played it like hundreds of times, like, obviously, like, if you play a track like hundreds of times while you're making it, your ears become used to hearing that sound. So I just couldn't tell the bass was out. So obviously I've been producing the track and I've put the bass in the key that I'd put it in. I've not realised it was wrong, and then before anyone's pointed me or I've had chance to realise, I played it hundreds of times, so I've got used to hearing it like that, to the point where I didn't think it was wrong. I just didn't realise it was wrong. And then they said, very nicely, which I like people saying that. I'd rather someone come and tell me that this track's shit, rather than like pretending it's good when it actually isn't. And that wasn't to say that they were saying it was a bad track. They were just saying like it sounds really good, but I think the bass is just slightly out of key. So I went and fixed it, and I actually inboxed my mate, and I said, I think it sounds better now. Sent him a video, and then I actually he said it sounds better, but it's still actually just, I think it's the lower octave that is still out. And then I had a little browse over it again, and then I realised, and I got the track totally in key. And he even offered for me. He said, "Look, send me the FLP over, and I'll have a look at it for you, and I'll get it in key for you." And I was kind of like, yeah, all right, but buzzing. But I thought, I want to learn. I want to do it myself. I can get this right myself. And I did in the end. And he said, yeah, that's spot on now. And and I thanked him for it. And then luckily, obviously, I'd sent a version to Rick for the label, and he'd actually texted me this morning, and he said, I'll have a listen to it this evening. And then late afternoon, when I sorted the bass out and put it right in key, I deleted the link I'd sent him, and I sent him a new one, and I said, sorry about that. I had to make an adjustment on the track. And he said, no worries, I'll listen to it this evening. And then I'm halfway through my studio session, and I check my messenger, and boom, he tells me, it's going to be released on the 15th of September, on the Excite Digital. And I was buzzed. I was proper, it was proper, because I just opened my messenger and I just see that famous Excite Digital artwork that I've seen so many people when they've announced their tracks. And I was just really excited. It like proper. At the time, I had a young woman in the studio, and she was singing a soulful track, and she was doing a cover of "Stand By Me," and I liked that song anyway. And then I just opened my messenger, and I just saw that album cover, and I sort of went out of a view of where she could see me through the window, and just sort of did like a yes, 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 and had a little bit of a dance around, and then I came back in view of the window, and sort of singing along to this "Stand By Me," and I had a really good felt really buzzed for it. And then I was like proper buzzed to like tell some of my mates online about it, as I was walking home. And I'd been taking some videos in the studio, and the phone had got to like 3%, and then I was kind of like, oh, I'm quite tempted here to, I want to go on my Instagram stories, and I'm like, oh, it's 2%. And then my phone did die, sadly, before I managed to get home. And it was a little bit of a gutting then, so I had to sort of like wait for it to charge up. And then I was thinking, do I hang on for a bit? And then I was kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna post it. I just got excited. They did say like post it whenever, but I was thinking I might wait until they announce it on their page first. But then I just thought, I'm excited, I can't wait. And they had, like I said, they had told me that I could post it, so that was kind of like, oh, well, you did say I could post it, so I will post it. In that sense. And yeah, it was just really exciting, exciting, exciting for me. So no bounce core. This doesn't come out the following Friday, unfortunately, but it will come out with a whole bunch of other tracks, and it'll be it'll be enjoyable. And as for updates on Bounce Core Records, I will send them something again. I probably will send them something at some point. Like I say, I've been like mega busy. So like work has just been like really manic at the moment because my work partner who I have been working with for sort of like the past year, he sadly left the role of the job, and also just before he left the role of the job, he was ill, so he wasn't actually in work. He suffered like a bad cold, like a bad flu, and there was just a lot of things to do. I was organising this event, and then I was still like going to like Sunflower and Gig Buddies, and they had an open day at the week last weekend, which was really enjoyable. I'm working at an arcology event this weekend with my work, and I've just been doing like loads of different things, and I've actually been like really tiring myself out. I'm not gonna lie, because like sometimes I'll get to like the work office for like 9:30 in the morning, like I did yesterday, and then 7:15. After like being standing around at the event all day, and 7:15. Well, it was more like 7:15 after we'd like loaded equipment back to Goodwin from the event. I offered to go back to Goodwin with the equipment. It was my work partner's last day, so was sort of keeping it chilled for him. And the other guy was on his push bike, so he couldn't have really jumped in the car and gone back to the work office, to the work office anyway, and dropped the stuff off. So I just kind of said, look, I'll do it. It's no issue. It was only a few TVs and some box of crisps and some banners that were packed away and stuff. It was nothing that was. It was nothing, like mega crazy. So I didn't mind doing it, but it was just it was quite a long day. There was a lot of standing around on your feet. I was up and down like coming off the steps and on the steps to go on and off the stage, which was that was obviously quite not many steps, but then when you do it like hundreds of times like throughout the day, sort of 3 or 4 steps, they can become obviously tiring. And but it was a really good work event. I do want to touch up on it because it was for me it was like the first time that I really got the chance to take lead as such on an event. Now I ain't gonna sit here and say, look, I ran the whole thing, but I definitely got more involved, and as far as the music stage goes, I was definitely taking more of a lead on that, and it felt really good, like going on stage and like announcing the artists and people on stage, and I just felt like I was sort of like really sort of like busy at work, and it felt like enjoyable, and I felt like but as far as like event promotion and event planning and event running goes, I feel like I definitely learned skills that I didn't learn, and definitely when like promoters like say like putting events on is stressful, like I definitely like understood like what they mean when they say that, because we had stress ourselves, like where artists pulled out and artists like turned up late, and it's stressful at the time when you're thinking, right, there's a guy supposed to be on now 4 o'clock and he's not arrived. It's you think in that moment like, right, what do I do now? How do I go about the next step? Can like somebody else who's already here, can they go on a bit earlier? What if this guy just doesn't turn up full stop? And you've always got to think like that. You've always got to have like plans in the back of your mind just in case like something doesn't go right. And artists pulling out, doesn't always have to be like the artist's fault. Like they could genuinely like end up in hospital, or they could get ill, or there could be something that is just against them that slow, isn't their fault. Although don't get me wrong, you do get people that just are absolute dicks and just don't turn up and tell you that or they're not turning up, or they think actually I can't be bothered to do this event, and rather than giving us good time to find someone else, they just decide not to turn up, and that is a pain. I mean, I didn't have that as such on yesterday. I just had a late arrival, and just essentially just people. There was like a really late arrival, and then there was like two other people that they weren't late, but they was pushing it to the point where we were starting to think like, where are they? The first act got diverted in traffic, and then the person who was supposed to be on after, he was not to be seen at first, and then he showed up just in the nick of time to come and do his performance. But he did actually tell us that if he hadn't have had a text message from somebody that sort of reminded him, he actually forgot that it was today. So we was lucky in that sense that he got reminded, and he did actually turn up, because he was someone who covered for somebody else who couldn't make it. So that was obviously the thing. So yeah, it was. But other than a few little teething issues, like I say, it was a really enjoyable event. It really gave me that sort of work experience, and I know now, like when you do certain things and you just feel so happy, and you feel so like at home doing them. I know now, like working within the youth and putting the youth events on, and organising these little like these little events like this, where it's like free for the families to come in, and there's like artists and bands on stage. That is my sort of thing, and I feel like really at home, and it's something different for me because I DJ a lot within the rave scene, and and I do a lot of MCing in the rave scene. So it's nice the fact that I put events on, but I get to do it in a different way, that I'm not just making the next bounce night, and that I am actually doing something a little bit different. And it's nice because I'm away from all them promoters saying like, oh, you're clashing with our dates, and oh, we've got Andy Whitby booked 2 weeks after, and you've put an event on 2 weeks before. I do something completely different, and it gets me away from all of that sort of like all of that like drama in the promoters scene, if you like, where promoters don't like other promoters putting an event on like the week before or the day before. Which sadly, I mean, I can understand it from like both points of view. Like I can understand, like you've been promoting this event for ages, and then suddenly another event pops up, the week before, and it's like people are gonna go to one or the other, so everyone could pack out this event the week before, and then you're actually like screwed in it. But then at the same time, like it's a free country. Like we are all entitled to. There's no law saying you can't put an event on this day because we've got an event on this day. Do you know what I mean? Like you can organize and book anybody and anything you want, whether there's something on or not. And it's nice when promoters try to work together, but there's so many like events that within the rave scene that take place, that if you try sort of pussyfooting around every promoter, like you'll just never put an event on. And sometimes like you've just got to go for it. Like if you want to put a night on, like you've just got to go with that attitude, like there's no time like the present. Get something organized and get it put on, because you could sort of agree with one promoter that, right, we'll do it this weekend, and that way it doesn't affect your event. But then you could still then end up be affecting somebody else's event. Do you know what I mean? So you can't always just be clear of events, because there's just so many, that obviously happen. But anyway, back to the work event. It was an amazing event. It was enjoyable, and I'm at an archaeological event this weekend, which is going to be fun. I'm actually managing the Goodwin's video game stalls. So we're doing an archaeology event at an archaeological dig site. I think I spoke about it about a year ago. We did an event there just under a year ago, where essentially there was digging up this old blockhouse that was in Hull centuries ago, and the sadly since then the dig site, it had to be filled back in because there was only like the law or something that you could only have it like opened up for so long, and then you have to like fill it back in because it's like a car park or something normally. So they filled it all back in, blah blah blah. But they're doing like some form of event there this weekend, and one of the things at this event is a guy called Jed, who I work with at Goodwin. He was tasked with making like a sandboxed video game, like an RPG maker video game set in the South Block house. So like a little sort of like two sort of like bird's eye viewy sort of real old sort of computer styled game, but really fun to play, really clever how he's made it, and he's showing off the game there. And then there's going to be like other activities like face painting, storytelling. So it's just going to be something cool for the kids like over the summer holidays. It's going to be on for the Saturday and the Sunday, so I'm going to be working the Saturday and the Sunday at the event, so no rest for the wicked. And then literally Monday I'm back at Music Lab. Tuesday I actually have a day off, and there's no meetings that I'm aware of, so I'm going to have a full day off like I was going to do tomorrow, and then that kind of all went to. And Wednesday I'm back in the work office, but I can take some hours back. So I left a little bit early today, and I'm gonna have a day off on Thursday, because on Friday I have to work. I'm at a community day at work. We've got a community day. So yeah, the thing about Goodwin is we do a lot of stuff like, and in the summer holidays we try to put a lot of events on, and do things that like family and kids can like come and get involved in. So like we're having a community day, and believe it or not, I'm actually cooking pizzas on that day. I'm helping my boss Andy. We're doing some pizzas on the day, so I'm quite looking forward to that. Chef Noble putting his apron and chef hat on, and getting to work on making some pizzas, which is gonna be enjoyable. I'm not sure. I don't know if we're doing it. I'm not sure where we're doing it, to be honest. If it's at the old Thornton Village Hall, or if it's going to be at the community hub. But I would imagine it will be more likely to be at the Thornton Village Hall. I would imagine, but don't obviously quote me on that. And yeah, that'll be a shed load of fun. And then on the Saturday, I'm in Leicester for the core vibes, the summer sounds. So I'm looking forward to that. So literally, it is like no rest for the wicked. So I think Thursday I am going to take that well needed day off, and then obviously from there onwards, we'll take it from there essentially. Um, I can take some more time off, and then the following week, I actually have a week off, and that is when I go over to the Isle of Man. So I'll be able to take a good bit of time off there, and I'll have a. I would like to say I'd have a week to recharge, but I'll be um, I'll be doing a lot of what's the word? I'll be doing a lot of probably walking around, sightseeing, days out, making the most of my time over there, rather than just laying in bed. But I suppose in some sense it still will obviously be a break. So anyway, we've babbled on, we've sidetracked, we've nearly got to just after 11:30. So make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share. 15th of September, Played Alive, my remix lands on Excite Digital, and it's there. It'll be there for you all to buy. So yeah, peace out, people.